former Fox person, Lara Logan, decided to put out some insane anti-Semitic conspiracy theory about Darwin. Okay, she did this in the context of a podcast that's actually pretty friendly toward QAnon conspiracy theorists. So of course, without further ado, here's what she said.
Who created seeds that are renewable? Like truly, like who created life that is truly renewable? What is the only thing on earth that is actually renewable? It's life.
Yeah.
And they can, go back to the Big Bang Theory and Darwin. I mean, when I found out, does anyone know who employed Darwin, where Darwinism comes from? Look it up. The Rothschilds.
Yeah.
It goes right back to 10 Downing Street.
All the way.
And the same people who employed Darwin. And that's when Darwin, wrote his theory of evolution and so on and so on. And I'm not saying that none of that is true.
Right.
I'm just saying Darwin was hired by someone to come up with a theory, right? Based on evidence, okay, fine.
Okay, so is she saying that the theory of evolution is BS? And this was something like he was just a paid mouthpiece to put out some faux theory of evolution? Like, what was that? I don't understand, like what. So she was trying to make a point about the Rothschilds and how they funded Darwin and got him to put out his theory, which by the way, has withstood 150 years of scrutiny. So Cenk, talk a little more about the anti-Semitic nature of her conspiracy theory here.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things here. First, I want to clarify, she's currently with Fox Nation right now.
She's still with Fox.
Yeah.
I thought that they had fired her.
No.
Wow. Okay.
So wild anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, no problem. All right, to be fair to Fox Nation, she just said it, so we'll see what their reaction is. She used to be with CBS. She was on 60 Minutes, believe it or not. She left there after apparently making up a story. They were not happy with that. And she was headed towards a right-wing direction, and it was fairly clear. And she started saying things that didn't make any sense in a right-wing direction, and that were not backed by facts at all. So she parted ways with them, and then she went to Sinclair Broadcasting, which is another conservative outlet, and now is at Fox Nation. Now, there's a couple of things in there, and one of them I'm pretty sure you guys probably are not familiar with, and I want to explain it. So first of all, she says Darwin's hired by someone to go prove evolution. That's actually not how it happened. Darwin didn't even have a theory of evolution until he went on the trip. So how could they have funded him for a theory that didn't exist until he went on the trip? But look, I'm talking logic and facts, and they don't care about that stuff at all. So she says the Rothschilds financed it. So this is a very old school anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that the Rothschilds run the world, that they control all of the money in the world, along with one other person that's relevant to this story. And the Rothschilds are Jewish bankers from the 1800s, But people are convinced, nope, the Jews are the puppeteers, they run the world, and so it must be the Rothschilds. And so guys, I've been warning about this rising anti-Semitism. And if you think like, oh yeah, well, I get it. I mean, everybody's kind of warning about that, right? No. It's way worse than anyone realizes. So I've said this on a number of occasions. Any reporter that goes to Embed that I've interviewed, when people feel comfortable enough in the QAnon community, in the extreme MAGA community, and sometimes not so extreme MAGA community, they say, who runs the world? The Jews run the world. Okay, they don't think Muslims run the world. They don't think immigrants do. They don't think trans people do. They think Jews do. Okay, these are the oldest tropes against Jews. They're from time immemorial, and they're back. They're back. What is QAnon about? Oh, drinking the blood of children. That's crazy. Where the hell did they get that from? That's blood libel. That's also as old as time and used against Jews in different parts of the world. Okay, so all of these old ghouls and goblins are coming back. So here's a person who's on Fox Nation and was on Sinclair Broadcasting and is ostensibly used to be a reporter and is probably she still thinks she is. I mean, did she verify that the Rothschilds have all of the money? No, of course not, because they don't. That's insane. Did she verify that the Rothschilds hired Darwin? Of course not, right? And that they had already cooked up this theory of evolution that wasn't true, but somehow miraculously was backed up by every single piece of evidence we've seen in the last 150 years. So no, they're just getting to the same thing. I remember when Emma Vigeland for us interviewed a guy, this was now, I don't know how many years ago, at a Trump rally, and he had a giant tattoo of George Soros on his back. And she's like, what is that? And it was George Soros as a puppeteer. Same anti-Semitic trope, the Jews are on the world, they're puppeteers. And even more than George Soros, if you go back enough, it's the Rothschilds, right? So now 10 Downing Street is the one where you might be confused. Well, what was that a reference to? Because those same theories say that the other super relevant person that also controls the money in the world is the Queen of England. Why? I don't know. Some dude probably 150 years ago picked her name out of it. Back then she was the most, the Queen of England was, or the King of England, whoever it was probably the most powerful person on earth. So they made sense back then to say, oh, one of the top bankers who's Jewish and the monarch in charge of the British Empire, they actually rule the entire world and they print all the money and they're in charge. And all these years later, that conspiracy theory is still here and lunatics like Lara Logan believe it and they're spreading it all throughout the country. So it is super dangerous times. Charlottesville was not an accident. I mean, that was when it happened, we were like, what in the world? All of those people gathered to chant the Jews will not replace us. For people who are not well versed in right-wing circles, that seemed like it just came out of the blue. But no, it isn't out of the blue. Look, there's a guy down in Texas who did the shooting of immigrants. Well, if you follow the news, there's all this demagoguery against immigrants, so you get why he did it. It's abhorrent, it's terrible, but you get what drove him to do it. But why the random synagogue shootings all over the country? That's not talked about it out in the open, and it's not like Trump and the other guys have trouble talking about racist and bigoted things out in the open. But that one is bubbling underneath. It's not quite acceptable to say it yet, but look at it, it's now leaking. There's Lara Logan out in public saying it, saying the name Rothschilds. So we have got to get a handle on this. It's going to get way worse before it gets better. I don't think people have any idea what kind of cauldron is heating up on the right-wing side here in America.
Yeah, God, it's so gross. And by the way, I don't think that Fox Nation's going to let her go. I mean, she has said all sorts of insane things in the past. And that's why I thought they had let her go, because you don't really see her on Fox News Channel anymore. But I guess they moved her over to Fox Nation and we'll see what happens, but I think they'll keep her there.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.